Welcome to the lab. I have InDesign open to the welcome page where we can create new files or we can open files that exist already. So I'm just going to give you a quick little overview of this. Okay, you can't see this on the video, and I don't understand why I can't get all of that in there, but that's just how Zoom works. But you should be able to see a row of menu tabs at the top. So you can touch the find one and you can either create a new document there or you can open an old document, or it also has an open recent list there. So you can go back to one that you have been working on and you want to go back and do some more stuff. Or your recent can also be here and they're sortable. So you can do recent, you can go by the name, you can go by the size. I mean, it's all different things where you can sort it so that you can find what you're looking for. Or you could even just click here. If you were going to make a letter size document or whatever document, you can just click here. I'm just going to simply click this new file button because we are making a new file. We are not going to be working on something that I'm supplying you for this one. All right, so let me move this another Zoom thing. Okay, so there are several different ways that you can create a new document. You can choose something from your recent sizes, if that works, or you can go to some saved sizes, or it has uh, some different templates and stuff. And I would use these, but don't use these in this class. I would rather you do your own designs. I mean, you can look at them and get inspired by them, but make your own files for now. I mean, you can do that whenever you're working for someone else. So anyway, I've got several different sizes for print here. There's also web. And notice whenever you go from print to web, you get a different unit over here. It's talking about pixels now because you know the web is sized in pixels. And then we've got mobile sizes too. If you're going to be doing something for an iPhone or if you're going to be doing something for an iPad, you can actually have the size that it needs to be. Because when you're creating, no matter if it's online or if it's a print, you need to create the document the size of your product. Let's say you're making a business card. Don't open an 8.5 by 11 file and then put the business card in the middle because you don't want people at a print shop or wherever making those decisions for you. You want to control the size of your document. So be aware of what your size is going to be. You should be getting a specifications sheet from anybody who gives you like if the size of an ad or something like that. It should give you the sizes that you need to make your file because they don't want an 8.5 by 11 page with a business card in the middle and for them to make those decisions. They want it even less than you want it. So always make your document the size that the finished product is going to be. It even applies to social media pages. I can't tell you how often I see something that somebody made just some random size and they stick it in Facebook or Instagram or somewhere like that and it doesn't fit. And so it either gets cropped off on the sides or the top and the bottom, or it gets squished so that it looks like either somebody is really, really tall and skinny, or they look like that maybe they've been squished from the top of their head. Okay, so I am going to go back. I'm going to just leave it in print because I think in inches better than I think in millimeters and or in pixels. I don't know how y'all feel. If you want to, you can work in those, but I'm working in inches. So I am going to create a new document. So I'm going to just go in here. It looks just like every other software we've used. I'm going to make my width 5 inches. I'm going to make my height 7 inches. So that means I'm making a vertical or a portrait style. You can absolutely do it the other way. So if you touch landscape, all of a sudden you've got it 7 inches wide and 5 inches high. Going to go back to this. All right, so now you've got pages and facing pages. Facing pages are pages that are two pages on the same artboard, and it has a gutter in between. But the reason that facing pages are really important if you're designing a card, like a greeting card or a magazine, is you want to make sure that both sides, both pages work together, because you don't want things to be wonky. You don't want things to just come to an abrupt end in the middle of the page. You want to make sure that they match, or are complementary, I guess is a good word. So that's the way you design whenever you're designing a double page spread. In this document, we're going to make 4 pages, because think about it. I want you to take a piece of paper in your hands and fold it in half, like you would get a greeting card or a small booklet or something. That is 1 page, but when you fold it in half, you've got 1 page, the front, you open up the folded page, and you've got 2, 3, because that fold makes it into two, cuts it in half. And then the back is 4. So whenever you have one single sheet and fold it in half, you have 4 pages. So that's what we're going to do here. Okay, going on down, you have margins that you can set. I'm just going to leave these alone for right now, because I haven't designed yet, so I don't really know what I want to do. So here is bleed. Remember, we ran into bleed in Illustrator, and I told you that the standard for bleed is 1/8 of an inch, or 0.125. I have this chain connected, so whenever I click out of that into the others, it fills in all of them, so that you don't have to go in and write it 4 times. You only have to do it once. Okay, we don't have to worry about slug. All right, so let's hit create. So we've got 1 page. Oh my gosh, where are the other pages? Well, before we get started with that, I want you to go up to Window, and I want you to choose an essential. I'm going to reset my essentials, and it makes it look a little bit neater. And I'm going to also go back up to Window. I'm going to make sure that my control panel is on. So I go down to C for control, and now I've got all of this stuff up here. It is practically everything you're going to need. There are some things that are going to be over in the right-hand panels that you're going to need. On the top is my properties, because it shows a lot of things that I would otherwise have to be digging through windows and panels and stuff to figure out where I can change those things. Right now, it just has the basics, the size, how many pages, the margins, and you can even adjust your outline from here. You click that, and you can change this if you want to. You can change the orientation, you can change the margins, and all of that stuff. Okay, the next thing on the right-hand panels is pages. Okay, so now there are the rest of our pages. I can click double click this, and it takes me to the next set of pages. Whatever is highlighted is the page that's active. You can even activate both. Now see, if I just click on 3, it's just 3 that gets active. If I hold the shift, I can click and have both pages active, so that if I place something that passes over this gutter here, you can it will you can manipulate both. Anyway, so those are the 2 pages, and I'm going to click on the back page. All right. So this simulates the what I was talking about with the 1 page. When you fold it in half, you've got 4 pages instead of just the one. And that's kind of a rule in print design. You have to work you have to remember the rules, the rule of fours. So if you are doing a booklet, you can do 4 pages, You can do 8 pages, you can do 12 pages. You can't do 13. Well, you can, but it's a real nightmare and it costs more to do it. So it's better to just keep it in the fours. If the number is divisible by 4, then it will print properly. Okay. So we've got all of these different pages. So I'm going to just scroll back up, and you can scroll here or you can double click here. Command 0 makes it center up in the page. All right. So we have the same sort of tools that we've been having before. We've got the selection tool, and then we've got the direct selection tool. They do the same exact things that they did in Illustrator. The selection tool just chooses things, and you can make them proportionately bigger or smaller by holding down. Oh, maybe I should show you that, because that's always a problem whenever someone is brand new to Photoshop, to InDesign. Okay, so I have my selection tool. I can move this around. I can make it a different shape. Or if I hold down Shift and Command, totally different than Illustrator. I am so sorry. I do not understand why they can't make it common from one software to another to have the key commands to be common, but they don't. And just to let you know, the reason that is because each software has an entirely different team. They probably coordinate a little bit, but not enough, in my opinion. This has been something that I've been on a soapbox from the very start of InDesign. So if you want to make something bigger or smaller in proportion, hold down the Shift key and the Command key at the same time, and then it will make it in proportion. If you do it with if you just have the Shift key down, it will work, but when it doesn't work is when there's actually something in here. If you have a photograph inside of your box, it's going to just crop the photograph. It's not gonna work with just the Shift. Okay, quickly through here. This is the type tool. This is the line tool. We have a full set of pen tools here, which you can draw in InDesign, but I prefer to do my drawing in Illustrator because it has more tools and it's really geared for that. Okay, so we've got a pencil tool here that's where the erase tool hides, is at the bottom. Okay, the next box is for a frame. And let me just show you what the frame does. I'm just going to open up a frame. It has a big X across it. And I understand that's kind of the universal symbol for this is a photograph or a graphic is going to go here. I get that. It's just one of those things. But I will let you know that this box that's just a shape will do the exact same thing as this box. There is no difference except for this X. It's just a visual thing. So I don't like the X. The X feels negative to me. So I don't use the X. You may not be troubled by it, but I don't like the X, so I don't use it. It does not have the star shape in here, but it has everything else. Same with this one. It has exactly the same tools. So personal preference, I use these, but this is really the official one that you're supposed to use if you're going to be putting in photographs or graphics. All right, so we have a path cutting tool. We have a rotate and scale tool and all that kind of stuff here. Oh, you know what? I did not change to my toolbar that I want you to use. I have tools. This is a rotate tool. So that is, you can see all of this stuff here. Here's our gradient tool. You double click it and you get one of these little boxes. And if you start collecting extra boxes, because you will, you can just come over here and hover and pop it right into your panels on the right hand side so they're not just floating around, and you can make them smaller so they're not taking up so much of your real estate here. Okay, and this is a feather tool. And then here's a dropper tool. And you've got to be really careful with this one because you don't want to use this color theme tool. You want to use the eyedropper tool. This hand just moves the whole artboard around. Magnifying glass, and this works just like it did in Illustrator. It's not necessarily foreground and background. It toggles you back and forth between. Let me get a color in there. Okay, so now we have a color. So it just toggles you back and forth between uh, where the color is, either the stroke or it's the fill. Okay. And that's pretty much everything over there. You've got a whole lot of tools up here, and it really depends on what you have chosen as to what is showing here. So if you have your direct selection tool, it's just some pretty generic things, some that are grayed out. If you choose your type tool, notice that now all of a sudden you've got your type here where you can choose a different type, you can change the size and so on. It has all of the different tools. But notice there's an A here. So that is for our text. You click here and it has all of the paragraph things that you could possibly want. You've got alignment. You can change the uh, the tab. You can change all kinds of things here. So this is a really handy thing to know. Okay. So I think we're ready to start working on our uh, our card. Now, I'm sure all of you have received lots of birthday and Christmas cards and congratulation cards and those kind of things. So we're just going to do a kind of a nice little generic birthday card. So download the items from Canvas. It'll take you to Google Docs where you can actually download from Google Docs. And so the first thing I want to do is start bringing things in. The way I work when I design something, and this is simply a personal preference, there is no wrong way to do it, but I like to bring in the text. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import my text. A beautiful thing about InDesign is that you can import a photograph, you can import a PDF, you can import any kind of file format like an AI uh, Illustrator file. You can also import a Word document, which is how you're going to get your text most of the time from customers. So it is really wonderful that you have that ability. So when I place something, I can drag and drop. I can open the Word document and copy the text and paste it into InDesign, or I can place it. Well, place is underneath File, and you can place by going, it's kind of like a third of the way down of that menu, and it's just place. And place has a key command, and you're going to do a lot of placing when you're using InDesign. So get used to that key command. And the key command is really simple. It's a Command D. So when you press Command D, it opens up a dialog box that says place at the top of it. You go to where your files are, and here we have InDesign Introduction. Okay, so what we've got are a balloon, a cake, a GIF. Those are, I mean, gift, gift, not GIF. Those are all Illustrator files. You can see because of the extension that it has on it. It's an AI. I've got a text for the Canvas PNG. So you see you've got some AI files with images in it, and we have a text doc. Please ignore this file. So I'm going to double click on the happy birthday doc file, and you see my cursor now has it. Believe me, that's text. It looks pretty small on the screen to me, but it's kind of a preview of the text. So I am going to click and open up a text box and let all of that come in. So all of that is going to be on the inside, because this is like the birthday greetings. I have given you 3 choices. You can use any of these choices. And I want to also say, while we're doing this, you can put your own message there if you want to. I haven't paid for a birthday or a Christmas card in years because I make my own. All right, so I'm going to show you a little handy trick. I brought that in on the wrong page. So I can do several things. I can copy and paste and delete this one, or I can just delete it and start over on the right page, or I'm going to come over here and I am going to bring this down here. And now I've moved a page up, and I can move it over here if I want to. I should have really brought it to this one to begin with. So now you see I have switched my pages around so that it's in the correct place, because usually you have a graphic on the front of a greeting card, and then you have the next 2 pages where it has like another graphic here, and then it has the birthday wish or whatever the sentiment is. So that is a real handy thing. I'm going to just show you that again. I'm going to do it the quick way this time, but I do want to show you that you can move these pages wherever you want to move them. So I'm just going to move it to here. And what happens is it says, I've got to keep my 4 pages, but she's moving this one down here. So this one took the place of this one, and this one moved up from here to here. So now you still have your 4 pages. It's all locked in because that's just the way InDesign is. It's just very helpful like that. All right. So pick the one that you want to use. I am going to use the short one. I like short little sentiments. I don't like I don't want to read a whole paragraph. When I'm picking out famous quotes and stuff like that for different projects, I always use the shortest one because I feel like most people are like me. You give me a paragraph, I'm not reading it. Not on a card, not on a poster. Just give me a really quick bite. That's all I want. All right. So we've got our text here, and that's really all we're going to have to import in. Now we need to probably say happy birthday on the front. So I'm going to write some more text. I'm just going to write happy birthday. I'm not going to, and I might even put, um, I'm going to put my grandson's name because his birthday is, when I'm taping this, it's actually tomorrow. So I'm just going to go ahead and put his birthday. Going to make this for him. Okay. And his name is Dax, D-A-X. I did not misspell it. All right. Then I want you to go to the final page, page 4. And here towards the bottom, I want you to put created by your name, or designs. That's better. I like designs better. That sounds fancier. Designs by Janice. Okay, so we have our text all in place. We have our text there. We've got our text on the front page. So now I want to start designing things. Before I style my text, I want to see what those graphics look like, because if you're working for someone else, you may not have looked at them yet. So I'm going to do another Command D to place. It brings it back up to where my document, the last place I went. So that's the right one will come up. So I'm going to look at these things here. Okay, I'm going to show you something really quick, and it's probably not going to show up on this video, but I'm just going to tell you how to do it. I've got my place window open, and I've got the top one, the balloon selected. I'm going to hit the space bar and pardon me, I'm going to hit the space bar and the balloon image pops up. Okay, so I can click that little X and I am going to put that here on the front page. Let me do that over. I'm going to place Command D. I'm going to click the balloon and see I've got a preview on my cursor of what I'm putting in here. If I just click, it's going to go to the original size. So on this particular one, it's not going to make any difference. But if it was really large, it might fill your whole screen and be way out on either side. So you do have to go chasing the edge of it so that you can get it to the right size. So what you can do to eliminate that is click and hold it and drag, and then it makes it however big you decide it's going to be. And I made it too big, so now you're going to see me chasing the edges. So I'm holding shift. I'm just going to hold shift. See what happens when I hold shift? It crops. Just like I said, it crops it. And I'm hitting Command Z to get that back to the original state of it. So now I'm going to shift Command and drag the corner, and it doesn't crop it. It's making everything smaller. Let me make this a little bit smaller so I can have the whole thing on the page. Okay, I'm going to get really close. Command 0. Now, this is the image that we've got. And see how there's lines here, there's lines around the box, there's lines around the image. If you hit just the W key, no command, no control, no option or shift, just the plain raw W, it takes away all of those other lines and it changes your anything outside your page to, like, it takes care of your bleed and all of that kind of stuff. You just see the actual image, how it would look when it was printed. Hit the W again, and it brings all of it back. So I'm going to show you another thing about an image whenever you bring it in InDesign. You hover over and you see this circle that shows up. What that does is it allows you to move the actual image because all that line, that box around it is a bounding box. And that basically means that it's a mask. Now you've got your entire image there, but you can mask it out by using the bounding box. But I don't want to do that. Now, the really great thing about having this here without having to change tools is that if you want this to be smaller, like if you've cut some of it off and you just want to make it a little bit smaller so it'll fit in the bounding box, you can make sure you've got that selected and it selects the inside. And you can tell the difference between the bounding box and the bounding box of your image because it's a different color. It's kind of orangey kind of color. Okay, so you can rotate these boxes just like you did in InDesign, in Illustrator. You can make that little arrow show up and you can make it turn. Gonna Control Z to get that back to like it was. But notice I've got this selected and these are usable. So I can click that and it goes 90. So I can make it completely rotate, or I can make it rotate the other direction. Okay, this is a mirror tool, so it flips it horizontal. You can see that it toggles back and forth. And notice that the meters right next to it, these little numbers right here, they change. So you can also control it by going back to 0. Oh, I really made a mess there. I guess you would go to 90, not up. Well, you can play with that and get it under control. I just use these little toggles because it's so much easier. And you can toggle it up and down. Okay, now I don't even remember where it was now. I'm going to just hit 0 and it went back to that. Well, what do you know? Now I'm going to just go here. Okay, so you have all kinds of control over it. You can also rotate. I already showed you that. Okay, so I am going to place this here. Now, this is a pretty happy birthday card. He's turning 18. This is probably not appropriate for him, but that's just going to be his cross to bear. Okay, I'm going to make this really big because birth, oops, I did not do that right. Let me back up a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I am going to just choose one of these and I'm going to shift command and I'm going to make it really big. I want it to be like the balloon that got away. Maybe bring it down just a little bit so it reads balloon. And if you want to check and see how that looks, you can hit the W and you can see how it would look when it's printed. So I'm going to hit that W. And now I am going to, whoops, I am going to take this text and make it go on a path. And I could use this, but that's a little tricky. I'm just going to show you a real simple way to, I'm going to start here and I'm going to, just like we did in Illustrator, I'm just going to kind of mimic this path real quickly. Okay. Now I'm going to take my direct selection tool and it works just like it did in Illustrator. I'm just going to pull on this handle and get it a little curvy there. Okay. Now I'm going to select my text. Control A. And now I'm going to copy. So I'm going to say Command C. You can do a right click if you want to use that, but I just did the key command. So Command C, and so I've got it on my paste board, my copy board. I'm going to go to type and see we've got this handy little type on a path tool, just like we had in Illustrator. So I am going to go over here at the beginning. I'm going to click, and I've made my path. I'm going to Control V. And one difference between Illustrator and InDesign is Illustrator automatically made that clear. We have to do that ourselves. So I clicked the line, I selected it with my selection tool. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say none. And now it's gone. I'm going to select all of the text and I'm going to start choosing my text. So I want it to be, let's try something kind of fun and carefree first and see how we like that. So I'm going to make it pretty big. Okay, that's too big. A little bigger. And you can always just move up point by point with the up and down key. I don't like that. That text, that font is making it really hard to read. So let's try something else. Okay, so I can go into my text box just like I did in Illustrator and I can see different fonts. And I can choose something that's really kind of fancy. I want to try something that's just really fun. I may use a rounded text. Since it has a balloon, this kind of has a balloon look to it. So I'm going to have to make that smaller for it to fit. Okay. Hmm. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to make, I'm just going to crop this. I don't have any key pushed. I'm just pulling that up and I'm making it so that that goes away. And I'm using this for the string. Okay. Now I'm going to Command O so I can, whoa, sometimes weird things happen. That's a monitor issue. Sorry. That's a little too close there, so I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. So, okay. So we can make this bigger just by Shift Command, and then we can drag it and we can make it bigger. And we can even move it around a little bit if we want to. So now it looks like it's a balloon that has a string that's saying happy birthday. So I'm just going to get rid of this. It doesn't have to be super complicated what you design. It can be pretty simple, but just kind of go crazy with this. Make it your own. You can use uh, just a couple of the images, or you can use all of the images. I'm gonna just use probably some of them. Less is more, right? Okay, so I'm gonna get close to this page. I've selected the middle, so I'm just gonna come in really close. So let's see what we've got in the way of images. Okay, so we have a cake. Okay, I'm going to click down key and I'm going to look at the gift. I think what I'm going to do is I am not going to use this text. So I'm just going to delete it and I'm going to place the gift. And I'm going to make it really big. Bigger yet, I'm going to hold Shift and Command and grab the corner and make it bigger. I'm going to have it bleeding off to the side so that whenever it prints, it's going to go off the page and be a nice, uh, no white strip image. Okay, so I've made my gift different, and I am going to use the same typeface as I did here. So I'm just going to go copy it because there is nothing wrong with that. So I just copy, and then I use my selection tool to undo that, to unselect that, and then I'm choosing my type tool and just place, I'm just copying into that. So I've got the same typeface. However, there is another way you can do this. I'm just going to change this back to something else. So if you want to make some more text and you don't remember what the name of the font was, go up to your to your font picking window. Anyway, and you have the last thing you used is at the top, and that's what I switched it to. But the second one is the one I was using on the front. So I'm just going to choose that, and I'm going to write you are a gift. Oops, I chose the wrong thing. I want to make sure I choose this. You are a gift. And I am going to write in a different font. That is what he calls us. Pete, I am JJ, and his grandfather is PJ. All right. And then on the back, I'm just going to have this little simple thing here, and it doesn't have to be like the rest of the text. I'm going to center it. So I have it selected. I go up to the paragraph symbol, and then I just pick centered, and I am going to go back to the text and I'm going to write, I'm going to use my own signature font. You don't have to use this one. You can use your own your own one, your own signature font. So I wrote that in And I'm going to put this a little bit bigger, put it in 12 font so people can see it. And then I am going to use the last item that was in here, the cake. And I'm just going to put a little cake right above my head. And remember, if you select both and you go back to properties, you have all of these tools to make sure that that's totally centered. So just click it a little and there you go. Another thing about InDesign, let me turn back on my pasteboard and everything. If you go back and forth, there, see that little line that pops up? That is telling you that that is the center of the page. So you can actually move things around by using your smart guides. Okay, so that is all it takes to make a birthday card or any kind of a card. So now let's look at it. So there's the front, there's the inside, and there is the back. Okay, so how do you print it when it's like this? Well, there is a thing called pagination. What the way we have designed this is in readers spreads. Sorry, I'm giving you a lot of vocabulary, but reader spreads, because this is how you would read the card. If you had this physical card in your hand, you would look at this page first, then open it up, and you would see the inside, and then you would close it and see the back side of it. Okay, let me show you how InDesign allows you to do that on the screen. So I'm going to go up to File and go to Print Booklet. And now you get this little box here. So I have a printer suggested that it's suggesting, but I'm not going to actually print this. I'm just going to show you how you could print it if you wanted to. Okay, so preview. This preview has a little triangle showing you that there are some problems with your print. If you printed it, it would not look correct. So let's go to print settings. This is a print dialog box, and I'm hoping that it's showing up on Zoom. If not, I'm sorry. Anyway, right now we have the general one. So you want one copy, and that's pretty much all on that page. Setup. Right now we have it oriented landscape because all of our pages are landscape. So I'm going to change this to this way so that the page is set up so that it's actually landscape. That one is portrait. That one's landscape. I'm going to center my pages, and then I'm going to go to marks and bleeds. We're not going to do that right now. That's something that you would really, printers don't want that any longer. So output, all of that's okay, graphics, and so on. So we can now look at this and say, okay. And now look at what we've got. We have no triangle. We have it set up in an 11 by an 8.5 by 11 page, and it fits really fine. So you can see page 1 is going to print the front of our card and the back of our card. So it's not saying I'm going to print 1, 2, 3, 4. It's printing 1 and 4 and then 2 and 3, because that is the way that a printer prints things. Let's see if we can see the next page. I don't know if it's going to let me preview it or not. Probably not. But anyway, that is the way that you would print it so that you could have a birthday card that you could actually fold, and it would be like a physical one that you would go to Hallmark and get. So that is all of the things that we're going to do to our card. So let me cancel this. And the way I want you to give this to me, I'll show you now. I want you to export. So you can go up to File, down to Export, or you can use the key command. which is Command E. So you get this dialog box now that says it's going to export. Okay, so I want this to go to my file. Let's just leave it in here. So I want to make a new file. So you can hit new folder, and I'm going to put Janice underscore card and envelope. I'm just going to abbreviate envelope. So I've created a new folder. So if you pull down this, you can go back in and you can see your folder is right there. So double click on it again. So I want it to be saved right here. So I'm going to save this as Janice. Whoops, I misspelled my name. Okay. I want to save this as a print Adobe PDF. So I've changed that. So I hit save. Now I get another dialog box, and it has several different things in it. So one thing I always do is I always view it after exporting, because I don't want to just make a PDF and never look at it, because you can really pick up on some mistakes. Like for instance, if you had just one page clicked here, it would only give you one page. So be sure to look at your PDF before you send it out. My setting right here is press quality. You have several different choices. You've got high quality, and those PDF X ones are some very specialized ones, but they haven't been updated since 2008, so people just don't use them. So you can make a press quality, which is fine for your desktop printer. You can make a small file size, which makes it much smaller, but it's okay for reading on the screen, or a high quality print if you're going to send it off to a printer. I'm just going to leave it at press quality. It's not so much bigger that whoops, I just picked the wrong kind. Okay, press quality, because it's a fine size. It's not going to be very big either way. So we have some different options here. This time, and generally I just leave it as it is right now, but since we're doing a card, I want you to click Spreads. I'll show you how that looks in a minute. And then I don't want to compress anything. I don't want any marks or bleeds. Actually, let's go ahead and do all. Sorry, I changed my mind, and I want to use 1/8 of an inch here so that you can see whether or not you have your bleed correct. And then output is fine, advanced is fine, and security, you could lock it, but then I wouldn't be able to grade it, so don't put a password on it. Okay, so when all that's done, when you've got everything fixed, but most especially view the PDF after exporting, you hit return, and it does its work. And I don't think this is going to show up on the screen, but what you're going to get is the PDF, and it's open. And so you can see the marks on it. You can see all of the color bars at the top. You can see register marks, which are these little circles with it's kind of like a target. And here is all of this. This is the double page on the inside, and then at the back. And if you hover over towards the left bottom, you get the size that is. And with all of the extra bleeds and marks and all of that kind of stuff, it's a little bit bigger than a 5x7, but it still, that shows you the size of your document. So close that and upload that. But there's more. Before you finish this lab, I want you to make your envelope. So now we're just going to save this, and just save it in your computer, wherever you want to save it. You can save it in your work folder here. I'm just going to put, if you click on the PDF that you've got, it's going to name it the same thing for your InDesign file. So I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to close this. So now I'm going to make an envelope. And so we're going to need to make a new document. And this is that size that we just looked at in the PowerPoint. So I'm going to take a little quick look, and the size is 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. I always double check my sizes because I don't want to ever assume that I can recall all these things by memory. 5.25. We always use decimals in all of these softwares. And then 7.25. Okay, we do not want 4 pages. We want just one, and we don't want facing pages. So I'm going to create that, and I have it oriented the wrong direction. I go to my properties and I click to make sure that it's oriented like an envelope would be oriented, because envelopes are oriented this way because that's what the post office wants. When they're sending through mail through envelopes through their machines, they want to have it on the longest side so that they can consistently put their, so they can automate it basically. So they want it to have the longest side be the bottom. So they always want things to be landscape as opposed to portrait. And they don't like squares. Just to let you know, they do not like square envelopes. So here we have an envelope. So envelopes always have a return right here. So I'm just going to put Woot. I never put all of my name. I always just put my last name on returns. I don't know why I do that. And then I'm going to put my address, which is fictitious, by the way. Don't try to Google this because it does not exist as far as I know. And please note that the correct abbreviation for Texas is capital T, capital X. I see so often people making a smaller case X when they abbreviate, and it's not correct. Okay, then I'm going to put my zip here, and now I'm going to put my, this is the sender address. So I'm going to put Dax 1234. Oops. And if you write TX up at the top, write TX here because it needs to be consistent. You always need to have a consistency when you're doing a graphic design. Okay, so that is pretty much all we need to do unless we want to make these a different font, which of course we don't want it to be the default. I am going to put it in my Futura typeface. I'm going to make it medium, and then I want to choose Futura medium again. I'm going to make his name much bigger than mine. All right. And this is where the stamp goes, right here. This is the stamp. Okay, so now all I need to do is make a PDF of this. You might ought to save it first. So I'm going to save it to my folder, and I'm going to call it Janice Envelope. Okay, then I'm going to do a PDF of that one also, Command P, and I'm going to do, I did make a change there. So I'm on this one, I'm just going to do the standard press quality. I'm not going to make any marks or anything on that one. Return, and now I am going to get, it did not do that. Let's see what I did. So I'm doing another, I'm going to go in here. Nope, I did a place, never mind. So I'm just going to export, Command E. I am going to choose, and that's where I want it to go. I'm going to choose And it's going to say I'm replacing it, and I do want to replace it. Um, it did not let me view it, and I don't know why it did that. Export. Ah, there we go. Now it's showing it. So save and close, and it should be in my envelope. So that's all that I want you to do. I want you to save them as PDFs and zip the file. And I hope you remember how to zip. I do either a right click or a click, control click, and you go to zip a compressed file and then just zip it up. And then you put that file into Canvas. Okay, till next time.